Hey, Husker fans, Sam McKewon along with Tom Shatel for Tom Shatel's Press Pass. Here we are on a Thursday, right at the end of March. Nebraska football sort of winding down its spring camp. They'll have their spring game here in about, I think 9 days or so. Tom, today Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, talked for 15 minutes. He talked for a long time about every aspect of the offense. Oliver Martin was up here as a receiver. There was a bunch of tight ends as well. What was maybe your main takeaway from what you heard?
Well, that there's a lot of things up in the air still, and that's how it's going to be. And he was asked about the spring game, and he said, I haven't even thought about it yet. But, I think he was asked how important will the spring game be for the quarterbacks. And he said, well, the main thing is don't get anybody hurt. So I think that's where the spring is right now. Don't get anybody hurt, and don't get anybody else hurt. Because there have been a couple of tight ends, obviously, that have gone down. But I just think if you want to do a little preview next week, we're not going to see anything in the spring game that's going to tell us much, except what does Casey Thompson look like out there? How does he throw? How do all the quarterbacks throw? How do they run? How does the offensive line come off the ball? Defensive tackling, some of those things. The receiver, Trey Palmer, what does he look like running routes? We'll see little glimpses of what we'll see in the fall. But right now, the spring is about getting the offense down. It's about reps. And I think it's about finding depth, especially at the tight end position, which we got today. Sean Beckton came and talked about the backup tight ends, basically, because the
backups.
Yeah, the front end guys are all out. So it's kind of where they are right now. But that's spring football, and it's not glamorous, but it's all about learning, especially when you have a new staff. So it's just another day of spring football.
Okay, so you've got a column coming on Mickey Joseph. Speaking of new coaches,
yes,
Nebraska's wide receivers coach has been here for a couple of months. He's a real hit. Okay, so all the guys like him, all the receivers like him, the coaches like him. He has sort of put a bit of energy into this program in a really good way. But you sat down with him. You're going to have a column on Mickey coming up over the weekend. Just give us a little sense of what that's going to be about, because it's a kind of a wide-ranging conversation.
Yeah, I didn't have to ask too many questions. He's so good at talking and answering and really getting to the heart of the matter. I got 45 minutes in his office yesterday, and I started up by telling him, I got here in August of '91. You were the starting quarterback. I remember watching the Oklahoma game in 1990. I wasn't covering college football then. I was just watching Oklahoma, Nebraska. Some guy went into the bench and he never came back. They had to cart him off. He ran into the bench and he never came. And that was Mickey Joseph. I knew I was, but I told him the story. I said that I came to Omaha to work, and you were the starting quarterback. But he only lasted a half of the opener. He didn't play well. Keith McCann came in, and he took over from there and became the Big 8 Player of the Year. The story is basically, I wanted to go in depth into that Oklahoma, the whole incident and scene, and how that impacted his career. And then we talked a lot about what drives him as a coach, and it's fascinating. It's as he would say, real talk. And I invite everybody to find the column on Sunday, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
I really like the one that you wrote last week about Mark Whipple and Scott Frost, talking to them off to the side a little bit about their marriage. Same thing Mark Whipple said today. The marriage is going well. They're still in the honeymoon phase. They're going to both have to go get jobs and figure out an apartment here come in the fall. For Tom Shatel, I'm Sam McKewon. This is Tom Shatel's Press Pass on the Omaha World-Herald. Thanks, Husker fans.